Today in CrypticCorner. Today in CrypticCorner, we are. We're not going to do the entire screen though. Sorry, still getting used to the layout. Hang in there with me. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop this out. There we go. And that way it's not all in one tab when I go to share it. Now let's try that. Is that Junk Shop Library? Oh my gosh, Junk Shop Library. I love when you make it to a live streaming of live from the Hive. I'm so grateful to see you there. I guess we'll go with that one. I'm just going to share you guys for a minute. But then we're going to get over here and make sure that is. Yeah, okay. So here we go. Let me know. Make sure that you guys can hear everything all right and see everything okay, because we are going to pop that sucker out to full screen. And we are going to be talking about...
Mostly about the question whether it's still...
We're going to be talking about Megalodon. One of these top 5.
No other prehistoric animals have divided opinions more than the Megalodon. Mostly about the question whether it still exists or not.
Okay, so we start off right out of the gate with a big old fallacy that Megalodon, there's some kind of dispute between the authority on ancient sharks that whether or not this creature still exists. Early on, when we started studying Megalodon, I got how far into the video before I had to stop? 10 seconds. 10 seconds into the video, literally, before I had to stop and correct a mistake. So this is going to be fun. Buckle in. So when we first started finding Megalodons and dating their teeth, I think it comes up in this video at some point, there was a interpretation of some of the teeth that gave them a young age as young as 12,000 BCE. So that is really, really recently. That is the Pleistocene Holocene extinction event, sometimes called the Anthropocene. Well, the Anthropocene is more so modern times, I guess. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it's when humans started killing everything. And that's when they think, that's when at one point that they would present a case that Megalodon went extinct, but that has long since been debunked. These are animals mostly of the Miocene epoch, which is further back. The Miocene ended about 2 million years ago. So we're at very least 2 million years removed from this fish, though I will say that does mean that there were hominids present at the same time that there were Megalodon. And if at some point one of our early hominid ancestors found themselves at sea to swim to, another island or to escape a disaster of some kind of fire or something, they could have very well found themselves at the mercy of a Megalodon, but they would have been non-human hominids. Anyhow, let me check on the chat real quick here. You blame Steve Alton ring? That's fair. That's fair. Steve Alton did present a living Megalodon case, but there was other things that came out of that crack too. But anyway, 10 seconds in, we've already went on a tangent. So let's see if I can stay on track.
While a lot of experts definitely say that these monsters are long gone, there are still some who fervently believe that they still roam the Earth's waters. Many sightings of the mighty fish have been reported through the decades, some of which are so compelling that it's really hard not to believe that these monsters died out millions of years ago.
Be prepared to be compelled by these Megalodon reports. Ready?
The number one sighting is particularly curious, so stay tuned for that.
Oh,
Here
we
are
certainly
10
will.
sightings of the Megalodon that may prove it still exists. Number 10. An unverified attack. Let's start things off not with an actual sighting, but with the possible outcome of a close encounter with a megalodon.
Okay, we're going to have lots of misunderstandings about tapophony here, the decay of living organisms. So we're going to buckle in on that one too.
A few years ago, a photo surfaced on the internet showing a beached whale. While seeing a beached whale is already strange and sad in itself, there is something that sets this event apart from the rest. The whale's entire tail is missing, and it looks like it's been bitten off by something large. The most compelling thing about the photo is that you can clearly see bite marks around where the tail should have been. Now, this is a
I'm not 100% sure on those bite marks, but to me, in my humble opinion, looks like it could have been easily caused by a boat propeller that hit the whale post-mortem. But
70-foot humpback whale, one of the largest animals in the oceans. Who could have done such a thing? Now, while it is true that orcas or killer whales have a habit of hunting and feeding on whales, it isn't known whether they can take on a whale of this size.
It is known that they can take on a whale this size because orcas hunt the largest whales in the world. They hunt blue whales. I've seen footage of it, and it's brutal. I'm not saying that they hunt the largest blue whale that ever existed. Maybe they hunt the smaller ones, but this is not a blue whale. It doesn't get nearly that big. I don't think this has anything to do with orcas, though, so we're going to move right on past that. This is clearly, those bite marks do not match up with the bite marks you would expect to see on a mammal from an orca bite. If it was an organism, would have it would have more, whatever would have caused that damage would have had more great white-like teeth, which the Megalodon really did not. They were megatooth sharks that had a very distinct tooth structure because they were hunting whales that have large, dense bones, and just having the meat shearing teeth of a great white shark just wasn't going to suffice to get through all that.
Nice. Plus, experts believe that the tail was shorn off in one bite. The only animal with the size and strength to possibly do this is...
Experts citation needed.
You guessed it, the mighty Megalodon.
Wait,
or maybe a sperm whale, but they got no reason to go after the... You guessed it, the mighty Megalodon can take on a whale of this size. Plus, experts believe that the tail was shorn off in one bite. The only animal with the size and strength to possibly do this is, you guessed it, the mighty Megalodon. Or maybe a sperm whale, but they got no reason to go after these guys.
Why is the Megalodon the only animal that could have done this? What about a mosasaur? What about a Lipleurodon? Why is just the Megalodon the only animal that could have possibly done this? Why couldn't it have been done by a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Deinosuchus? There's other animals. I guess because if it was a Deinosuchus, it would have been twisted off, right? Is Deinosuchus still alive? This whale corpse proves it. Just silliness.
Number 9. Unusually young teeth.
Yeah.
Still yet another sighting. I promise we're going to get into those in a bit, but there's also something pretty compelling here. This story has something to do with the British ship HMS Challenger, a former small warship that was converted into the first dedicated oceanographic ship with its own laboratories, microscopes, and other scientific...
From where we get the term Challenger Deep, which is a depth measurement it's up by the Marianas Trench. It might be part of the Marianas Trench, but anyway, they're going to get this location.
Scientific equipment on board.
Anyway,
its job was to explore the oceans and discover new animals that have never been previously discovered, mostly by dredging the bottom of the ocean and see what they can drag up. While it was dredging a seabed near Tahiti in 1875, it pulled up a pair of Megalodon teeth. Over the years, dating of the teeth has produced mixed results. Some dates fall to the 10,000 to 15,000 year old range, and that's a far cry from 1.5 million years ago, when Megalodon supposedly went extinct. If the dating is accurate, megalodons have survived to a far later time than previously thought. And if they made it to as late as 10,000 years ago, who's to say they aren't roaming the oceans today? Number 8.
And that's the young teeth I was talking about. It's basically they're saying that these dating methods, and that's a problem with dating certain things that have been in marine environments. It was it's one of the citations of all younger creationists actually uses. There was like a seal bone or something that was dated, and it dated to a different, like a time way off from where it was. And yeah, just take that into consideration, and they do take that into consideration. They've adjusted the dating for the megalodon teeth. It's already been, they've already looked into the error on that and kind of sorted it out and figured out what's going on. Yes, I would have loved for megalodon to have existed 12,000 years, 15,000 years ago, alongside living humans. That would be wild. And just keep in mind as we go through this video that they are going to continue to go with the Alton interpretation that Megalodon is also like a giant great white shark, which is not the case. As I was saying, they have megatooth sharks with odonta. They're not Carcharodon Megalodon anymore. So, or Otodus Megalodon, they're an odontid shark, a megatooth shark. Oh, I said odontid. That is dragonflies. But yeah, the Otodus. They're these very specific, very niche-driven, warm sea giant sharks that specialize in preying on Miocene to early Pleistocene cetacins, whales. So yeah, that was their niche. So they're going to be very distinct looking, have distinct physical characteristics that are very different from what we see with great white sharks. They aren't just giant great whites like they're often depicted in media.
The Google image. Ever since Google Maps was launched, a lot of people have been finding strange things on there. Some are easily explainable, like glitches on the photo or misidentifying certain things or animals to be something totally different. An example is one recent viral photo, which many thought to be the proof of the Kraken, which turned out to be, well, just a rock. The image reportedly shows a Google Map image in the Bahamas. In it, you can clearly see the silhouette of an extremely large fish. Could it be a whale shark, the only living animal that could even remotely match what's on the photo? Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
But if you see the photo, there's something a bit off with the shape for it to be a whale shark. Of course, it is a bit premature to declare this to be a megalodon, but
or
what are the other
shark.
possibilities barring the whale and basking shark? Number 7.
It's almost always a basking shark, isn't it? Ring can attest to that if Ring's still here. Yeah. It's almost always the basking shark. The dodo, nerdy, the dodo was around up until fairly recently, up until modern colonial, to the colonial era. Excuse me, I got a little bit of frog in my throat. That extinction event I was talking about, where we went around and killed everything, it didn't reach Oceania until the 2nd century CE. So that's when we started being detrimental. Of course, we started in the Atlantic. We wiped out things like the great auk, which was the original the original penguin. Where that word penguin applied to was the great auk, auks in general, and we wiped out the sea mink. But then later on, starting right around the 1500s, when we really started exploring the Pacific, that is when we started wiping out things like the dodo. The Polynesians came before us, and they did wipe out some of the more specialized indigenous creatures, like the giant moas, for instance, or the elephant birds. The first people to arrive wiped them out, but Europeans came and kind of finished the job, and that's where the dodo went. And rats were always the problem when it came to wiping out these birds, nerdy. I just want you to know that the brown rats were the issue. One of the, well, not the only issue, obviously. They were the biggest issue because they were detrimental to the eggs of these birds that needed. They took a lot of energy. Most of them laid just one or maybe a couple of eggs, and yeah, they were not able to fend off the rats from getting them. I got off on a tangent again. Damn it, nerdy. Oh, I. It's all makeup. Mark Caesar. I guess if you want to see me about makeup, go watch that Ting stream from last night, and you'll see. But thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I'm getting so much better at doing makeup. I have lots of cool people helping me with it. But let's go to the Cape Town photo.
Cape Town photo. This piece of evidence caused both a sensation and an uproar, dividing mainstream scientists and those who are keeping an open mind. This very famous photo shows an extremely large fish swimming alongside German U-boats, reportedly taken just off the coast of Cape Town, South Africa during the height of World War II over in 1942. The photo even shows German sailors looking at the monstrous beast as it swims alongside the submarines. Using the length of the subs as a basis, the length of the fish, just from the dorsal fin to the tail, is a whopping 64 feet. Many have claimed that this is undeniable evidence that the Megalodon still exists today, or at least one was still alive in 1942. However, a lot also says that the photo was faked, and it was the Discovery Channel, the ones who showed the photo in the documentary about Megs, was behind it all.
Which is the fact. That is not just, it's allegedly. No, they made this photo. They made this photo, guy. It's just like the pterosaur photo that we talked about on our Civil War pterodactyl video a couple of weeks back. It's been a couple months back. But it's the same difference. This is made for the documentary. It's Blair Witchy meal. It's making you or paranormal activity business. What was the one? Mermaids. The body found.
If the photo is proven to be true, it's definitely a game changer, and it would be enough to change minds of people who have been saying that the Megalodon is already extinct. Number 6. The David Stead sighting. In 1918, the ichthyologist David Stead recorded a strange unease among the lobstermen of Port Stephens, Australia. Although their livelihoods depended on the sea, the men could not bring themselves to venture out to their favorite crayfish spot near Broughton Island for fear of what they had just seen. They had reported seeing a monstrous, ghostly white shark of such mind-boggling size that apparently no one could agree exactly how big the Leviathan was.
Yeah, wait till you hear these measurements, guys. I've looked into this case before. The big white, like Moby Dick white shark of Australia.
The shark was big enough to swallow several lobster pots at least, but the size estimates Stead drew from the workers ranged from 115 feet to an absurd 300-foot minimum.
What on earth would a 300-foot... Because if you look at a great white shark, it's a macro predator. It preys on big stuff. It doesn't... they can eat fish and what have you, but generally they're preying on fairly large prey items. They're not... So what would be the benefit of being 300 foot? I guess you could prey on whales, but the caloric intake that you would need to sustain that, I don't know. Anyway, let's...
Shark, which Ted believes to be of the White Death type, was a remnant of a very real species that sculled the seas for millions of years. Of course, I'm talking about the Megalodon. If Stead was right...
Well, let's just be clear right now. Megalodon nowhere near approached 100 feet. Megalodon definitely nowhere approached a minimum of 300 feet. Holy moly. Even its giant teeth on an animal that big, it'd be comparable to like a basking shark's teeth. Because basking sharks still have teeth. They're just really tiny. That's how the size of the Megalodon's teeth would be compared to its body if it was 300 feet. No, excuse me. I have some dust in the air in here.
Right about his size estimates, there may still be a living Megalodon, or even a living population out there at sea. Although, I will admit that's a little absurdly big for a Megalodon, though. Number 5. on a Mexican beach. Yet another piece of evidence that has divided millions. But if you're a staunch believer in the
Why is this evidence dividing millions? We are going to look, they're going to get close to this animal. Why is this dividing anyone?
continued existence of the Megalodon, then this video footage will surely be enough for you. Footage emerged of a beach shark, reportedly in some beach in Mexico. While you could say that this could just be a great white shark, it definitely looks larger than anyone I've seen. And do you know what kind of shark whose size much closely resembles its Megalodon? I think we can all kind of, come to a conclusion on that one now. Of course, skeptics will always tell anybody who would listen that it's just a beach great white shark. But the fact...
No, it's not a beach great white shark. It even says right there in the report you're reading. Let's look at this. A 26-foot long dying shark washed ashore Tuesday on Long Island Beach. The New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation said the male basking shark, which weighed an estimated 5,000 pounds, was measured at 26 feet 6 inches. Died shortly after authorities arrived on the scene, according to the marine educator Tracy Marcus of the Cornell Cooperative Extension. Marcus, who was at the beach at the time, said there was no outer abrasions on the shark, ruling out the possibility of a boat strike, and the cause of the shark's death was unknown to investigators. Basking sharks can grow up to 35 feet in length and are the second largest fish in the ocean after the whale shark, Marcus said. The basking shark, which is non-threatening to humans, feeds mostly on plankton and smaller fish. Yeah. So, that was back in 2009, by the way.
The fact is, there are no great whites that could even possibly reach that size. That's according to my research, at least. Wait. Then there are also people who would say that...
Look at that. Look at that mouth. Did a dentist come and remove all this great white shark's teeth? Did they pull this guy on it? Is that what they did? And removed all the teeth from it so that it was a friendly great white shark and put the star on top of the Christmas tree?
The size, as reported, was greatly exaggerated. But then again, video evidence doesn't lie. But as they...
Video evidence doesn't lie, but you do, even when the information's right up on the screen in front of you.
They say no amount of evidence, no matter how convincing, is enough for skeptics.
Right.
I guess someone will need to catch a Megalodon.
That's not evidence
for footage of one of the...
It's not evidence for Megalodon. This is just a basking shark.
Wild. And speaking of footage, number 4, the Black Demon. The black demon shark is an enormous black shark whose territory is said to be just off the coast of Mexico's Baja California peninsula.
Any Monster Quest fans out there? Black Demon first came on my radar through Monster Quest, and I did lots of research into it. I have my own thoughts about what Black Demon is, but let's see what they want to say.
In recent times, several local fishermen have reported seeing the black monstrosity. The black demon is said to be 20 to 60 feet long and weighing anywhere between 50 to 100,000 pounds. It is said to resemble a great white, but with very dark coloration and a truly monstrous tail. In 2009, the TV series Monster Quest dispatched a film crew to the Sea of Cortez to investigate the claims from American sport fisherman Eric Mack, who was sailing off the coast of Baja in July of 2008 when he encountered an unidentified creature that met the legend's description. The ocean-dwelling monstrosity, if it exists, has been suspected of being an oversized gray white, perhaps with melanism, which is the development of dark...
I would speculate if it's an animal with melanism, it's probably a whale shark with melanism. Let's see what they say.
...colored pigment in the skin, or the opposite of albinism. But, of course, the more popular...
albinism
...theory is that the supposedly extinct Megalodon still roams the coast of Baja. So, swimmers beware. Number 3. The Coast Guard footage. Aside from sailors, who obviously spend most of their lives at sea, the guys who are most likely to catch footage of the mighty Meg would be the Coast Guard.
Now, we've seen this footage before. We're going to look at it again. We talked about this on our deep sea TikTok stuff. But
Their rescue
We'll look at the
helicopters, they
footage
would have
again
the
in just a
perfect vantage
second.
point to spot anything lurking below the waves.
Mhm.
And in this rather controversial footage, they might have accidentally found the elusive Megalodon. The Brazilian Coast Guard caught sight of the monstrous fish while attempting a rescue at sea. At first, the Coast Guard officers didn't notice the giant shadow swimming past them beneath the waves, but after reviewing the footage later on, they couldn't believe their eyes. If the size of the shadow was of any indication, the animal was upwards of 60 feet long. Of course, it could have been another large fish, primarily the whale shark, but there is one glaring flaw in that assumption. Whale sharks don't swim anywhere near Brazil. Furthermore, the footage has been analyzed by countless experts, and there's no way that it could have been doctored. With this, the video has been touted as the best evidence for the continued existence of this beastly shark.
What about this image though makes them? And I get that. Yeah, it's inconclusive as to what it could be. And yeah, and I'll take your word for it that whale sharks don't live in this particular region. What about this image makes you think it's a megalodon? What physical characteristics of this organism matches up with megalodon? That's what I don't get. I keep saying, oh, it can only be megalodon. There are so many things living in the ocean now that are large, that look large and will appear large on camera. There are other, if they want to go with it, it's an ancient organism that's held over from a previous geological period. Then there are more things than just megalodon as well that could be this big and make this kind of shadow. It's not conclusive, and I don't understand why it could only be megalodon on all these things. Anyway.
Number 2, the Zane Grey sighting. Earl Zane Grey was an American author and dentist best known for his popular adventure novels and stories associated with the Western genre in literature and the arts. He idealized the American frontier. Riders of the Purple Sage was his best-selling book. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. What does an award-winning novelist with a penchant for writing westerns have anything to do with megalodons? Well, he believes he actually saw one, or rather a shark too big to be, and to quote him, a harmless white shark. Strong words. In the novel,
Whoever said white sharks were harmless. Harmless white shark? What? No. Now, white sharks can be approached, and they can, humans can swim with them. They're not monsters, but you got to be careful around them because they're giant predatory fish.
Megalodon, fact or fiction, Rick Emmer writes that Gray claimed to have seen one of the man-eating monsters of the South Pacific, a shark much longer than his 30-40-foot boat. Apparently, the shark was yellow and green, with a square head, immense pectoral fins, and a few white spots. It does have to be stated that Gray himself did say that he thought what he saw was a megalodon. But what other shark could there be?
Wait, yellow-green with white spots? Yellow-green. Maybe like olive color. Let's think about that. With white spots. It doesn't even sound like there's any question that he's describing a whale shark there. Am I right? Am I right? Am I the only one hearing that description saying you are describing a whale shark? How is this happening? How is this happening right now?
Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on, guys, what's up with that? Can you guys...
Well, I'm not going to subscribe because you keep lying to me. You keep lying why the information's right on the screen that contradict you.
Please hit the subscribe button. You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. The Great Barrier Reef sighting. The Great Barrier Reef is one of the world's largest marine habitats, serving as home to millions of fishes and other sea creatures. Although most of it is readily accessible, scientists believe that they still have much to learn about the reef. In fact, there still may be
much to learn about the reef before we kill it. The Great Barrier Reef is suffering greatly right now from oceanic acidification. So we need to learn as much as we can about it before it's gone.
A lot of unknown species left to be discovered. In line with that, the Great Barrier Reef may also be the perfect hiding place for a species long thought extinct. In the 1960s, along the outer edge.
Yeah, because they were shallow sea animals, but I don't think you would want to that they would in reef environments were present where megalodon teeth are found. But the reef isn't necessarily the best place for a huge animal like this to thrive.
Of Australia's Great Barrier Reef, an 85-foot ship experienced engine trouble, which forced them to weigh anchor for repairs. Although the men subsequently refused to openly report what they had seen for fear of public ridicule, the captain and his crew later told friends of sighting of an immense shark as it moved slowly past their ship. Whitish in color, they were awed by its size. It was as long, if not longer, than their boat. Experienced men of the sea, they too were certain the creature was not a whale. So, what was it? Other writers, such as author Rick Emmer, suggest it could have been Megalodon. Did any of these sightings make you believe that the Megalodon still exists? Let us know in the comment section down below. Want to watch more videos about amazing animals? Click on any of the videos you see on your screen. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.
All right, so that was the top 10 sightings of megalodon that may prove it exists. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I do not feel as if any of that even presented a case that could be inferred as having been a megalodon. None of those, you could say that they were large sharks. Megalodon does not mean oversized shark, or definitely does not mean giant great white shark. So that's yeah. Let me see. I saw some comments up here about the sharks too. Let's see. You got to wonder about the accuracy of the clip when he referred to the boat as 30 to 40 feet. Yeah, how accurate can that measurement be if they can't even know how big their own boat was, right? Yellow and green should never be seen unless it's upon a shark. Well, yeah, I think that. So the whale shark, I showed pictures of them as well, but I just wanted to give an idea of, how this organism is spotted. And we see it, most of the pictures we see of them, they have like a brownish tint to them, but you need to remember that most of the time we're looking through the water, and like me and Andrew we got to talking about last night too, about the way that light refracts through water, that only the blue light really pops down here, so they look very brown, but they get up to the surface, they have a much more yellow hue to them, or a lighter like olive green color. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of one on the surface that's real, because the reconstructions are obviously going to be the same color as what they look like when they're under the water. But interesting ways that that light refracts off of their. Well, there you go. You can kind of see it there. You see the yellows that are really lost when it's seen in the blue environment of the ocean. But once you get closer to the surface and some more of that green and red light wavelengths get in there, it makes that yellow pop out a little bit more. So, yeah, I think that the spotted shark was a whale shark. No one has talked about whale peen yet, but this show's just getting started. That was just the first segment. So, more than 50% of the Great Barrier Reef has been destroyed, bleached due to the rapid warming oceans due to climate change. Yep, oceanic acidification as related to climate change is destroying not just the Great Barrier Reefs, but all reefs all over the globe, including the rare biomes that we call cold water reefs that or hold some of the rarest organisms in the world. Let's see. And Dog wants to come. Be controversial. To be fair, Bree, conservationists are desperately trying to introduce new coral to the reef, but they're probably fighting a losing battle as the new coral is trying to migrate. Yeah, if it doesn't like the environment, right? Amanda, has there been damage to the Great Barrier Reef? Also, has there been fertilizer content to the river's outflow? Yeah, Megalodon is only proven through fossil teeth and spinal cartilage. Fossils take millions of years to form. So, right, yeah. So we're just going to assume that everything's a megalodon, even though all we know about them is what their teeth looks. All we know about them for sure is what their teeth looks like and what their spinal columns look like, what a vertebrae looks like. We know, but we do know that what their ecology was like. So we know that what they were eating and where they were living. So that's where we get a lot of our inferences about what their size and behavior and morphology would be like. Let's see. Yes, Andrew, some of the damage has to do with pollutants, although more to the species inhabiting it than the reef itself. However, it is rapidly warming. That is the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem for so many things right now. Let's see. All right, so that was we talked about Megalodon today for live from the Hive's Cryptic Corner for our Shark Week special. I'm going to continue to do sharks for the rest of July, which means we got one more episode. It's going to have a shark thing. I don't know if it's going to be in Cryptic Corner. It's going to be in HiveScience. Last week it was in HiveScience News. So we will see what the future holds there.